Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic day today, a fantastic Friday. It's the end of the week. Most of you guys, I would imagine, don't work today, although some of you guys may be working next week, which really sucks. And if that's the case, I apologize on behalf of your employer, because you should not be working tomorrow, or excuse me, Monday. But yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Hopefully you're all having a good one. It is not New Year yet. Nuclear Survivor just said Happy New Year in the chat. What's up, Griffin? How you doing today? Christian, what's up? Gusbuster, Colin, Alex, Raymond, B-Man, Felice, Landon, Grizzly, Eduardo, Torno, Nate, Z Davis, Joe Sebastian, Brian, Shadow Killer. Welcome to the stream, guys. I really do appreciate all of you guys coming out. You guys are absolute legends. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of Fortnite duos, starting off the stream right. I'll be doing some custom zombies later tonight, hopefully. I'm not going to go ahead and do any of that Fortnite crap like what we did last night. That was just BS, man. But yeah, we're back doing some Fortnite tonight. I did also fix the donation alerts for you guys as well. I'm going to be joined here by Billiard. Let me go ahead and do that right there. All right, so if I switch back over to this, unmute that, switch over to Fortnite, there you go. You guys can see that the alerts are popping up. I'm joined here with Billiard, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the myth, the legend himself. We were lighting it up in Fortnite last night, and we're going to be lighting it up in Fortnite today. We're going to be lighting it up. What's up, Colin? How you doing today, man? Can I play zombies? I'm not going to be playing any zombies right now, man. I will hopefully be playing zombies tonight, though. You can go ahead and join up on me now, I think. I'll invite you. What's up, Master Gamer? How you doing today, buddy? I want to be a ninja? Dude, I already am a ninja in this game. Literally. Literally a ninja. What's up, Sonny Ross? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Jace? What's up, Xavier? Not laughing. Nice boobs. Let me suck your huge... What?
Weird fan, bro.
I do have some weird fans, man. I have some very weird fans. Oh, you know what? I was noticing the other day, guys. I think my mic is a little bit too loud on stream. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down just a wee bit. I think that's a little bit better. I think that's a little bit better. But yo, Huey. Huey comes in with a £2 donation. I appreciate that, my guy. Thank you very much. Can we get a Huey spam in the chat, guys? I would appreciate it very much. What's up, Jackson? Henis, huge fan. Juan, huge fan of you, man. Huge fan, huge fan. How does the mic sound now, guys? Mic is okay? Does it sound all right now? I don't know. I was listening to it last night, and I guess when I was like shouting and stuff, when I started to get really loud, the mic just started to peak a little bit. So I thought maybe it was just a little bit too loud, so I figured I'd turn it down just a little bit. How is it now? Like when I'm talking and shooting, can you guys still hear my voice? Or is the game audio still too loud? Just let me know. What's up, Jacob? How you doing today, man? BO3, did you get your ranged weapon bribe? I haven't even gone on yet, man. Like I haven't opened up Black Ops 3 in forever. What's up, Violet Ninja? Aside to play zombies, of course. What's good, Sean? How you doing today, man? All right, where do you want to land?
Okay.
Call the shots for me, Dad.
Oh, God. Retail.
Oh, retail? Oh. Damn, you pulled a fast one on me. Who am I playing with? I'm playing with Billiard, guys. Turn the game volume down? Alright, I will. I could actually just go back and... I don't know. Could just turn my microphone volume back up. Where are you going to go? Blacktops or houses?
Probably blacktops. Yeah.
Okay. No, frick. This guy's here. Please tell me there's something in here. There is. A guy just looped around. I don't know where he went, though. I'm drinking this. I only have an SMG.
Oh. Gotta kill him.
Can you crawl back? Yeah, crawl back towards me. Ooh. Oh, that's Ninja. That's Ninja Dr. Lupo.
I told you.
You did? Wait, you did?
Yeah, I said it like 3 times, bro.
I didn't hear you at all. I got you way too quiet or something like that.
Nice.
All right, let me go ahead and check. Are you good now?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you just got to talk a little bit louder because I just didn't hear you. Yo, Warren Finney, what's up, man? Welcome back to the stream. What's up, Blank Sora? Yo, Billiard's mic is very low. I can barely hear him. All right, I'm going to turn you up a little bit. I'm going to turn you up a little.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Go talk again.
Hello?
All right, yeah. I think that's a little bit better. What's up, Ocean? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, Jod Squad? Yo, Brockzilla, what is good, brother? Welcome back to the stream, my man. Alright, I think we're good now. I think we're a little bit better. Yo, Powerful Pancake, what's up, my man? I feel like I haven't said hello to you in forever.
Man,
How do we use coins? Yeah, right. You guys can use coins to enter into giveaways that I do at the end of every month. Or you guys can use coins to redeem items from the loyalty shop. You earn 10 coins every 10 minutes you watch the stream. What's Billiard's YouTube? I should have your YouTube linked in the description, low-key, shouldn't I? Let me go grab it here. I'm going to put it in the description here, guys. You may just have to refresh your stream. I'm going to put it in right now. Give me a quick second.
Are you going to use the actual link? Like the custom URL?
I'm going to try to. Did you update your bio on Twitter with it?
I don't know.
You didn't? So. No, of course you didn't. Of course you didn't.
Of course.
Alright. Oh, no. I can't spell subscribe. I can't spell billiard.
Oh,
alright, now we're good. We're good.
Go Dusty.
Well, I'm not in. Like, I'm alt tabbed, bro.
Whenever you get a chance. Right.
Let's make sure I... What is it? Billiard YT? What is it?
YT, yes. That's
not your custom URL.
Just don't worry about it. Get out.
I'm not even in the game. Okay, I'm just.
Cabin.
I can take that link, put it in there. Okay, I think changes are being saved. Changes are saved. Okay. I got out. Where are we going?
Right here, where I'm marked.
Alright, got it. What's up, Nick Evan? What's up, ProHenis? What's up, Damien? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, For Honor? What's it? Yo, JJ Gamer, what's good, buddy? What's good, my man?
We will be fine.
Oh, I forgot to switch back over. My bad, chat. My bad.
Really?
Hi, can I have some merch? Yo, Mini Gamer, I'm gonna be doing a merch giveaway, dude. Oh, there's somebody else here. Please tell me.
Behind me.
I don't have any weapons yet. Huh.
It's fine.
No, but I... Ha! Get destroyed, you scoundrel. Wait, was that you?
Yeah. Just wait.
Okay. Wait, I saw a... Why can I not pick this up? Holy Jesus.
I hit his other teammate for a little bit, but not like that much.
Wait, I hear him. He's near me.
Oh, coming. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
I got him.
There's another team here.
Yep. I shouldn't have wasted ammo because now I'm all out of shotgun ammo.
Nice.
But I got an SMG though, so we Gucci.
Are we though?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm Gucci. Are you Gucci?
Yeah, I Gucci.
Wait. I just got a purple bolt to action.
There.
I'm baiting a little bit. Okay, nothing.
50 shield.
What's up, BO3 Basketball? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Henis, are you gonna do some zombies today? Yes, I will plan on doing some zombies. Or I do plan on doing some zombies today, guys. 100%.
Unless a new game mode comes out for Fortnite.
Unless a new game mode drops for Fortnite, in which case, chat, then you know I'm gonna be streaming that brand new game mode.
Okay. You saw last night,
What
that they're adding a, what's it called?
Yeah, like the new announcement, they're gonna add a new silenced pistol.
Uh-huh.
Where you're gonna get, yeah, you can get, so, I don't know if you guys saw that announcement, but there's gonna be a new silenced pistol added into Fortnite, where when you shoot it, you literally won't be able to tell where you're being shot from. Little OP, if you ask me. I'm hoping the weapon's gonna be, like, fairly weak. What the hell?
I mean, the thing is, it's gonna be like the the silence SMG, so.
Well, I mean, like, the silenced SMG, you can still tell where you're getting shot from, though, right?
Well, that's what they said about the silence SMG, that you won't be able to tell where you're getting shot from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. I don't think it's gonna really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll find out, but.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna guess the other guy just didn't land here, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's just balance out. We got a decent amount of supplies right now. Where do you want to head? Let's just head towards Tomato Town. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Yo, what's up, Austin? Hey, bro, I've watched all your videos. Yo, I appreciate that, Richard. Thank you very much, man. Yo, do you have any shotgun ammo by chance? Or, like, extra? Because I literally have 0 shots.
I dropped some.
Gracias, senor. You dropped 1 bullet.
Yeah, that's all.
Alright, well, you know, it'll, I'll make the best of it. The graphics suck? Nah, dude, the graphics don't suck. Yeet!
See, I do it all along, bro.
You knew it all along that there's gonna be ammo there?
Yeah.
1 extra courtesy bullet.
See, there's gonna be a chest under this bridge.
What's up, Sheldon? How you doing today,
There's
man?
shots over here too. Oh, would you look at that?
Oh, I see shots all the way, like, or I saw somebody all the way to 345.
I'll go this way.
When you said shots over here, you mean like in Tomato Town?
Like north.
Oh, no, yeah.
Hey, what did I tell you?
Well, yeah, there's usually a chest spawn there, bro.
Fight me.
Why can I not build there? What the hell? Actually, hold on. Whoa. Swap that real quick. Yo, what's up, Morgan? What's up, Jitted? What's up, Julian? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate all of you guys coming out. Hopefully, you're all having a fantastic Friday today. Wait for this guy to stand still. And you are toast. Oh, he jumped at the last. Oh, I see the other guy. He's out back.
Here's one shot.
I see both dead teammates over here.
Got him.
They're freaking. This other guy's out back somewhere. I think he. I don't know if he ran away. Oh, I see him. He's out back behind the last house. I think you're about to have a clear shot on him, yeah. What's up, Eric Jess? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you coming through.
You are so good at this game.
Dude, #1 Fortnite duo, man. I'm telling you. Like, literally, we cannot be stopped.
I need bandages.
I got 5 for you. Actually, well, yeah, there's some over here, too. I'm gonna bring them to you. I got 15, actually.
Oh.
I'll just drop you all of them.
Here.
I dropped you half, actually. Pick up that. Oh, gracias, senor. What's up, Golden Ninja? How you doing today, buddy? Do I have a PlayStation? I do have a PlayStation, man, but I, like, rarely use it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna keep that just in case. Whoa, I just got shot at.
Oh.
Back on. I just got down. Are you kidding me? Holy Jesus, they lasered me. They're nading me. I'm gonna die. I can't crawl away any farther because of the...
Watch us. Watch us.
Because of the tree.
Got the smoke. Stay in the smoke.
Okay. OP strat. What's up, Sheldon? How you doing today, man? I still have 8 bandages, so I should be good.
Okay.
They're fighting another team, so they're going to be really weak after this.
We're good. How Gucci are we?
We're Gucci, man. We're Gucci.
How Gucci?
I'm pretty Gucci right now.
Okay, I'm healing.
I don't have eyes on them where they were.
I don't either.
Oh, yes, I do. I see one of them. He's in that, like, destroyed hut. That destroyed brick hut.
Oh. Netting it. Made it right in there.
He's weak back there. I don't know. I didn't hit him. Nice. Got one down.
I see.
Nice. Good stuff.
They talk about my two dogs.
Do you already have a blue AR?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. That one.
They talk about my two dogs.
I kept hearing more shots. I don't know where from, though. That drop is... the drop's relatively close. You want to try to go for it? Do you have any extra shield potions or no?
Nope.
Okay. Yo, what's up, JJ Gamer? Huge shout out to you, man. What's up, AJ, my man? Welcome to the stream, my guy. Appreciate you coming through. What's good, dude? What's good? What's up, Kevin? What's up, Sheldon? Yo, do you guys still think my mic is a little quiet, or what are you guys thinking? Let me know if I need to turn it up or turn it down. I can do that pretty easily. Maybe just have to wait till after the game or something. What's up, Vitalia? What's up, Cool? Thank you very much for the sub, man. I appreciate it. If you guys are new, definitely make sure you drop a like and a sub on the stream. I would appreciate it. How's your giveaway? Broxzilla, I haven't done the giveaway yet, man. I'm going to be doing the giveaway more than likely the 31st. Oh, shoot.
I got shot at. Got me. 2 of them. He's gonna end me.
Ah, shoot. Wow.
It's all good.
What's up, Callum? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, Code? It's good? It's turning up? It's good? Alright, yeah. You guys are all saying it's fine, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
Feels good, man.
Yeah, we could have tried to get the high round. Henis, you have a big forehead? Thanks, Danny. It's true. What's up, Nuclear Survivor? Welcome to the stream, man.
Yeah.
Should have played that better.
Whatever.
First game on is always the worst. Always the worst. Please notice me. What's up, Ryan Long? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Can you show your controls? I mean, yeah, if you're curious about my controls, I can show them to you. Play high explosives? I mean, I guess we could. We could duo in high explosives with no fill, right?
Yeah.
What's up, Jeepers? What's up, Dante? I think it's actually, I mean, as long as we're building fine, it should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me show you guys my controls here for those of you guys who are curious. How do I check my money? Killer, if you want to check your coins, man, just type exclamation point coins in the chat. What's up, Resulted? How you doing today, man? Alright, yeah, so you can get my input. I'm just going to scroll slowly through here, guys. You guys can screenshot or pause the stream or do whatever you want to do.
Fatal.
What's up, AJ Billy? Wait, where?
Yeah, fatal.
Oh. What's up, Minecrafter? What's up, Richards? Ooh. What merch is going to be in the giveaway? It's going to be whatever merch you guys want, man. That's the beauty of it, dude. I'm going to try to go to the house. I think there's like, there's probably like 3 other teams coming here.
Okay.
3 or 4. Nah, 3. 3. I'm going to the bathroom part of the house.
Okay, I'm going silos.
Okay. Nobody landed here at the house with me, so I think I'm
There's a
alone.
chest in here.
All I have is a grenade launcher right now.
I got blue AR. Come here, give me here, take that other one.
Hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can. I got a shotgun. I hear another chest up here, actually. I hear another chest on the roof. I'm gonna go for it. Don't die me, Billiard. Shoot.
Don't die on me.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I got a shield potion for you.
A mini shield potion?
No, a full shield potion.
Oh, okay, I'm good. I have 75, so.
Okay, you don't want it?
No, I'm good.
Alright. Because I am 100% on everything.
There's an AR over at the, where the silos are.
Okay, what color? I have a green one.
It's, oh, no mind. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
See the guys out here to the northeast?
Uh-huh.
Another guy's running towards him too. I think they might be teammates.
Yep.
Not sure though. I think they saw me. Nice. Good stuff, good stuff. You want that sniper?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they have one of these guys have a better shotgun? And oh, they got a green pump. I'll take that.
You don't have any shields left, do you?
I have a full shield and 1 small shield potion.
I need something. Also,
Take that.
sniper ammo?
Yep. Oh, what the frick, dude? That and then that.
I'm backing up from you now.
Dude.
Jesus
I'm fat fingering everything today, dude. I can't do anything.
Actually, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hold on to what's called for now.
Okay.
Add shield, take it full.
That's already been opened.
Oh.
I'm gonna check down here, I guess. Actually, no. We'll just keep pushing up.
Yep.
Getting to the safe zone. What's up, Colby? How you doing today, bud? Welcome to the stream. Which gun do I prefer? What do you mean? I like, as far as burst ARs and rifles go, I definitely prefer the regular, like, semi-auto.
The one that's actually good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean.
What's up, Matt Grossman? How you doing today? It's your boy, the nade launcher. Oh, I left the nade launcher, dude.
Yeah, if you want to go back and get it, it's up to you.
I low-key want to.
Then go get it.
But I want to cut this chest up here. Hopefully there's one up here. But yeah, I'll go back for it. I can't believe I forgot that, dude. I'm such an idiot. That wasn't even really worth it at all. You getting shot at? Yeah. Are you good?
Yeah.
No, are you freaking serious? Dude, I can't build. What? Oh my god. This guy just had too many explosives. Henis, formerly known as Pro. Yeah, formerly. Formerly known as the Pro. Not anymore.
Henry.
What?
I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta leave?
Yeah. Okay, we're good though.
I have to change the title of my stream and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I get it.
Yeah.
Nah, for real.
I'll talk to you.
It's cool. I get it. It's cool, dude.
I'll talk to you later.
Nah. You have a good time doing...
I will.
Yeah, no. It's sarcastic. I hope you... No, I'm just kidding.
Lele.
Bye. Slight change in plans. Ripping the chat for billiard. Alright, let's grind out some solos, baby. This is actually gonna be good because the last couple times we've been playing solos on stream, we've been freaking killing it, dude. We've been killing it. So let me throw on... Yeah, alright, I got that thumbnail. Number 1. Yeah, I'm just gonna title it number 1 Fortnite player. We're gonna go. We're gonna do the totally not clickbait title again. Totally. Oops. Totally not clickbait. Alright, perfect. Alright, now we're good to go. Now I just need to change that title on my Twitch stream, and then I'll be good to go. Let's get it. Let's get it. I need to get better at Fortnite, man. You know what I think it is? I think it's because I didn't get enough sleep last night. That's what I'm going to blame it on. I'm going to blame it on my poor sleeping schedule. What's up, Dakota Voss? How you doing today, man? What time am I going to be playing zombies? Hopefully sometime later tonight, man. I'm not sure exactly what time. I'll be sure to keep you guys, excuse me, updated on Twitter, though. What's up, Knife Ninja? What's up, Blue Space? Peanut Man, what's good? What's up, Assassin? What's up, Weiss? Solo Henis? Solo Henis. You have thick eyebrows. That's a compliment. Yo, thank you, your boy Drago. Thank you, man. What's up, Jason Kennedy? I need more G Fuel. I haven't been drinking any G Fuel at all. I'm going to save the G Fuel for the late night stream when I'm actually going to need it. But for right now, I need to focus on just drinking some water. And chillaxing. What's up, Samuel? What's up, the goat? Welcome to the stream. Do I have a girlfriend? No, I do not. What's up, Riley? Do aim booster? Let's do aim booster, I guess. Aim booster to warm ourselves up. I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes aim booster works. I don't know. It's so weird because you're doing it in like a browser or whatever. It's fun though. It's a fun little game to play. Little warm-up game. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, God, chat. Yeah, you can feel the first game. You can feel the first game noob coming out in me right now. Got time for one more game. Did I miss anything? Nah, the challenge. You haven't missed anything, man. Just gotta get warmed up here, boys. Ooh. Missing a lot of stuff we shouldn't be missing. Oh God, yeah, I'm like overthinking it, and then it freezes on me. What's up, Mexican gamer? How you doing today, man? How do you donate? Link in the description, my man. What's up, Isaiah? All right, I'm gonna go all the way to Anarchy. I think that's gonna be my strat. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to Dusty Depot. Even though Dusty Depot loot sucks, absolute. You go to Salty Spring, actually. We go to Salty Spring. What's up, Richard? How you doing today, buddy? Can I beat yesterday? What do you mean, like my 3 games that I won yesterday? I don't know. We'll try. We will try. What's up, Star Vipers? How you doing today, my guy? Alright, try to aim for this house right here. What's poppin'? Been here since 100K? Yo, not your average vlogger. Appreciate the support, dude. Been here since 100K. Damn. It's a long time. Long time to be subscribed, my dude. Dude, can you literally chill? Like, I'm trying to... Ha ha ha! Loser. Oh god. I'll gladly take that. Wait, was there another chest up here? I forgot to really check. There was. Is it gonna pay off? It is gonna pay off, 100%. Whew. What's up, Jason Kennedy? 11 out of 10 gameplay. 11 out of 10 gameplay, boys. Thank you. Ran out of ammo, boys. That guy's still in there. I don't know what we want to do with him. We got some shield and we got some... Do I want to try to rush him? I'm going up on the roof. I don't give a frick, dude. Are you freaking serious? Are you freaking serious? Okay. There's a guy over there too. Can't go up there. It's a very weird position to be in, boys. Because we know he's in the house. What does he have down there? He has some stuff I want. You freaking serious? There's a guy in there? Of course there is. Of course there is. So we grab this guy. I see them running away. I could have. Shoot, so they're showing that house. Freaking kidding me? I just got you baited. Hopefully that kind of teased him out a little bit. Come on. Where are you? Come say hello. There's still 2 people here. I know it. You know what, honestly? Oh. That guy still thinks I'm on the roof. I'm all out of ammo. How many shots does that take? How many shots does that take? He had 11 HP because he had a full shield. Oh my lord. What's up, Alex? How you doing today, man? What's up, Nick? Yo, Raw raid. Wait a minute. How do you pronounce that? Is it Royale raid? Or is it just Raw raid? I want to say it's just a Raw raid. Raw. I appreciate the raid, man. Thank you very much. I'm gonna call it just a Raw raid. Raw Hill? Rahil? I'm definitely mispronouncing that, but I appreciate the raid, man. Damn, pretty good raid. What's up, Random? What's up, Sandra? Yeah, welcome to all the raiders. I apologize that you had to see that. I apologize. Play some high explosives. I mean, we could play some high explosives. I don't know. The high explosives game mode's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to solo in some squads on it today. I feel like that might be kind of cool. Try to get a solo squad win in the explosive mode. Be kind of cool. It's so much fun. No, I was playing it last night. Like, I know it's fun. We got like 3 wins in it, 2 wins in it last night on stream. It is super fun. Gotta take this slow. Let's get him in. Whoa. Yep, starting to lock up. Just gotta start going faster. And it lagged out on me. Awesome! My new custom zombie map is on the Steam Workshop now. Hey! Prestige, that's lit, bro. That's lit. And Jacob, thank you very much for the $2 super chat, my man. I appreciate that, dog. I appreciate it. Yo, let's get a Jacob spam in the chat. New Fortnite game mode? I know, I played the new Fortnite game mode last night. And it is super fun. It is super duper fun. But I don't know. Aim booster equals warm up. What's up, Screamer? If say real name. If real say my name. I'm real. I'm about as real as it gets. What's up, Simply? Yeah, nobody go to this house. This house is mine. Don't touch. Wow. Nobody actually touched it. That's actually surprising. I saw it myself. Somebody on the first floor. That is rather unfortunate for him. What will ever happen to this poor man? Oh. Coming up. It's up on the top floor now. Oh, he had a shotgun. I didn't think he had anything. Oh, my lord. Took off a lot of shield. Oh, that actually freaked me out. Not gonna lie. Where was his shotgun? Oh, there it is. I think I could just drink this back. Okay, let's go check out this guy. What's up, David Ruiz? How you doing today, man? Yo. So talk about, man. We just gotta warm up. Make a couple of these warm-up games. It's always weird because my sensitivity always feels faster when I come back. Or like after I... He actually just ran back inside. Freaking serious. He ran downstairs. Wait, what? Where did he just go? Whoa. Henis! Oh my lord, dude. The frick? That was ugly. I hate those close quarters engagements, man. They suck. Okay, we're good. don't know why I have this revolver, to be honest with you. Take this pistol instead. So we'll just get back up here. See if we can snipe some more people. There's a guy. Oh! Come on, let me get back up there. Oh my god, thank you. I think this guy knows I'm here. You're freaking serious, dude. Where was that shot, dude? Whoa. I headshot him. He's 13 HP. Oh my lord, dude. What's up, Jason Kennedy? What's up, Cody? Dude, I'm getting destroyed by the weirdest stuff. Like every significant gunfight I'm getting into. First of all, I'm missing those shots. Damn. And then the guy's got like full shield. It's all good though. It happens. It's called the luck of the game. Honestly though, whoever at Fortnite or whoever who works at Epic Games thought it was going to be a good idea to add a shield into the game. It's like literally the dumbest thing. It makes the game so inconsistent. It makes it so much harder to play. I hate it. I don't think it's balanced. It doesn't make it balanced. That's the problem. When you add a shield, it's like it's additional health bar. That's really all that it is. You basically go up to 200 health instead of 100 health. And that just makes it harder to like predict and kill people, you know? But then again, if you didn't have the shield, people would just get melted, and I get that, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. Probably the same person that came up with that probably thought that Bloom was going to be a good idea. Oh, God. And it freezes on me. Sick! Ba-dum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. There's my rant. There's my rant on Bloom. I would sponsor and donate, but I'm saving up for my Nerf arsenal. Sorry, Andrew. Honestly, it's like the greatest excuse I've ever heard. RIP shield, yeah. Nah, like when you lose your shield like that, it's the worst. What is that called? What do you mean? It's wait, a bloom? What bloom is? Bloom is like, it's like RNG, so it's like the randomness of where your shots are going to end up. It's frustrating because you can't predict where your shots are going to go anymore. That guy's seriously going to go there, dude. Come on, man. Don't worry, I'll just land back here where there'll be a chest. Hell yeah, did I call that, chat? Call that like a boss or what? I'll keep that. Check to see if there's a shotgun in here. Please. Or something. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That was not wall hacks. Could have sworn. You are very confused right now. I can tell. Wow. Okay. Just when I saw a guy down there. But now we're good. The double pump strat, guys. We're going to try to go for it. Honestly, I hate the double pump strat. I really do. It's not even that, like... It's not even hit because I hate it because of, like... I just hate it because I think it's too OP and I'm not good at it. But really mostly because I'm not good at it. That's where I am now. Ooh. Wait, does he still not have an idea of where I am? There's no way, right? Bang! Honestly, I'll take that instead. I don't give a frick. I just hear more footsteps. I don't think so. I think I'm good. Also, picking up loot in this game while I'm on the topic of just ranting about random stuff on Fortnite. Yeah, loot, the pickup system is just fantastic. T1. You nailed it, Fortnite. You nailed it. I get that there's lag and crap, but like, Jesus. Oh, what's up, Ivan? How you doing today, buddy? No, RIP the double pump. RIP the double pump, man. Because you know what the problem is? I usually miss one of my shots. I'm not good with the cadence of it yet. That's my problem. There's actually one in here. How many chests am I going to find? How many times are they just going to be filled with absolutely nothing? Is there another chest up here? No? Got ourselves a semi-auto sniper. I want to say there's more people there, but I'm not sure. What's up, Taxable? How you doing today, buddy? What is that? Oh, that's just ammo. I could use my med kit right now, but not really feeling it. What's up, Pyrone? How you doing today? Yeah, for Rant Nation. So my entire stream's just going to turn to me ranting. Which, to be honest with you, I hate when streamers do that, but sometimes, man, you just got to let it out. You just got to let it out. Holy dude. Give me something better than white ARs all the time. Another chest up there. No chest there. Keep on moving, then. Oh, I gotta reload this. Thanks for reminding me, chat. What's up, Nick? What's up, Scarce? Can you donate with Visa? Yeah, you can donate with anything you want, pretty much. No, don't tell me that's already been opened. Are you serious? It was glowing when I was back there. But somebody already got to it. RIP in the chat. Well, I will take your attack, then. Did I just get a shot at it, or was that the glitch? I can never tell anymore. Somebody already went up there. Yo, somebody already pushed through here, dude. Holy bejeebus. What's up, Richard? How you doing today, Pro Gamer? Somebody's taking shots. This is close. Goddamn. Oh my god. Whoa, I stopped moving! Henis! Oh my god. I stopped moving. I like legitimately froze up. Like, what happened? Like, I think, you know what happened? It was one of those weird cadences where, like, you press your thing, and you think you're gonna move, and then you don't move. It's one of those things. You know what I'm saying? No? No, you don't? You don't know what I'm saying, chat? Okay. Well, now you know. What's up, Lee? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Bluey art? Yeah, there's a scar. Even better, right? What the hell do I have my inventory looking like? Another medkit too. Back ourselves up. Take that. And then pick up that too. We got 2 medkits? Is it my birthday? Go grab that ammo just cause. That guy honestly set up the most perfect launch pad for me though. Like literally that could not have been more perfectly timed. If you really think about it. Hit him once. Hit him twice. Hit him 3 times, that's alright. You're about to be in for the biggest surprise of your life. Surprise. see a mini shield potion there? I think I did. Wow, a lot of mini shield potions. Okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna get rid of that then. We're gonna pick up that, put that there, get rid of that, pick that shotgun back up, and oh! Oh no! Alright, that's right, though. We're not gonna lose that much. We're gonna be fine. Whoa, I didn't pick up my shotgun. I actually potatoed that. It's alright. We got medkits, chat. We're good, we're good. Tactical. No, wait, bro. What the frick is happening? I can't see because they're all blue. Literally every single item there is blue. Okay. Should I heal up? I have 2 medkits. You know what? I promise you. I promise. Yeah, I should. I'm going to, chat. I'm going to. Yeah, 70, 75? Yeah, we should. Why are my ears itchy? I've never had that before. Such a weird sensation. Too easy, boys. Too easy. He's like, where'd he get shot from? I don't know what happened. Don't worry, dude. I'm coming. I'll make sure you know now. I'll let you know. What kind of pop filter is that? It's a Nike sock. What do you mean, dude? Yeah, take a moment to heal up for a second, my man. Wait, where are you getting shot from somewhere? Oh, you are. Well, that's unfortunate for you now, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh, that is... This guy's 100% gonna try to snipe me. I know he is. You can feel it in your bones, right? Can you just peek me, please? Come on, man. Ooh. Sheesh. Alright, lost a lot of shield there. It's alright, because we got a gold scar now. Take this shield right here. Heal ourselves up. Alright, I'm liking the position we're in. We're unfortunately going to have to run, though. And I did not want to have to do that, but it's going to have to happen. Can we outrun this? And we can't outrun it. Thank the Lord, dude. Let's get it. What game is this? This is called Fortnite Battle Royale, my good sir. This is, like, literally a terrible position to be in right now. But the good news is that since we can outrun this, we can take a little bit more time to examine our surroundings here. And if I see anybody move, y'all are dead. What's up, brother Skunk? How you doing today, man? Look at this. What have I stumbled upon here? I don't trust this right here at all. Okay, nothing. Ooh. He tried to boogie me and missed. He is mad. You know he's mad. The tree absorbed the blow. Let that be a lesson to all you boogiers out there. I should just head right to the safe zone, shouldn't I? He's trying to boogie. He's trying to boogie, dude. I respect it, man. I respect it. But, like, literally that same exact thing's happened to me. We try to boogie somebody, and that doesn't do anything. What's up, Caleb? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, Super Platinum? Keep seeing everybody say raid Raw Hill. He raided us earlier. What are you talking about? I don't want to take that shot. I'm not feeling it. 9 people left. 9 kills. Oh, now he's building a base. Say it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to try to perform the stealth flank. Do I actually? Yeah, I don't have a jump pad. What's up, Revenge? How do you use coins? You can redeem items using coins from the loyalty shop. There's a link to the loyalty shop in the description. Or you can wait till the end of every single month when I do giveaways. There's no way this guy's going to, like, not see me coming, right? Like, there's no way he's going to not see me coming, right? Like, I'm just throwing that out there, right? Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to start building right now and have him not know that I'm coming, right? Like, I just want to make sure we're very, very clear that he knows exactly. Wow. He is mad. Are you freaking serious, dude? I had that kill. That... Oh my god, he had 2 potions, dude. How did that not? Watch him one-shot me. Dude, you're so weak, man. Thank you. Holy crap. You're gonna make me drink another potion, you jerk. Oh, God. Don't worry, chat. I'm good. Huh. It's okay. It's okay. This is all calculated, all planned. Why did I just jump right there? I need my shotgun back. I still want these potions for sure, for sure. This base isn't even in the safe zone anymore. I really want to grab that RPG. He sees me, right? He has to. Woo! That was nice. That was nice. That right there was a nice sniper shot. Where are the rest of... I have 700 ammo, dude. Like, ain't no joke. 700 AR ammo. And 172 sniper bullets. Totally not overkill, boys and girls. Where did we kill this guy? Oh, right here. Do you have anything we need? You had a potion. Like, low-key? I'm actually going to predict... I'm going to take the mini ones. Mini ones are better, I think. You can drink them faster. Yeah, you can drink them faster. That's pretty much the only reason. I have no idea how to play this right now. This is such a terrible position to be in. Alright, so that guy's building out there. We're just going to run along the... Oh. No! I should have taken the shot, dude. I'm too much of a sissy. I didn't want to choke it. But now, at least we can... Okay, he just sniped that guy. What? What? I'm so confused right now.
Can you play World War II zombies
Dude!
later?
We gotta go to the safe zone. I'm gonna get sniped. Okay, well, that shot I just missed. That I will not lie about. I hate my scroll wheel, dude. I absolutely hate my scroll wheel. No, you've got to be kidding me. I gotta take the shot. 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 Thank you. Holy God. Okay. Keep building, Henis. You're gonna be fine. It's okay, buddy. You're gonna live. Please don't snipe me. 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 I can't build anything. I can't build anything. Okay. Okay. Build a wall right there. That was completely unnecessary, but you know what? It's okay. Okay. We're good. You kept moving and shooting. That's probably why you missed. I mean, maybe. We have no idea where this last guy is, do we? My only guess is that he's in the house, but I truly have no idea. He's not on this island with me, is he? I don't think he is. Oh, there he is. He's got to be right there, right? That has to be him. Right about now, this is when the RPG comes in handy. We have 27 seconds, dude. Okay. I don't see him. Where is he? No! That's really bad. Okay, we're just gonna have to rely on a good sniper shot, I guess. That's really all this is gonna come down to. What the frick? Look at what he's building, dude. What is this? Just allows him to get really good cover, I guess. No way, man. Babyface 2110. And the best part is he can sit there and he can lob those over, and he never has to peek out. Rip in the chat. L's in the chat. What's up, Alex? How you doing today, Pro Gamer? What's up, NWT? Launchpad makes everything different there. What else would have helped there? That RPG, right? That RPG would have made a world of difference. That RPG literally made a world of difference. And maybe if I pushed a little bit sooner. Maybe if I pushed a little bit sooner. Maybe that would have made a difference. What's up, Dylan? How you doing today, man? Damn, but yeah, that sucked. Not gonna lie. Whoa, I'm gonna end up making my game freeze if I keep doing this. Let's play some aim booster. Let's get it. Honestly, those sniper shots, we hit some pretty nice sniper shots, though, not gonna lie. That's the only thing that really sucks about that game is we had some really nice kills, but just can't end up calling it the W because we choked it, man. What's up, June Reeds? How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Let's go to Retail Row. This is why you should have gotten the grenade launcher. Yeah, right? When I choked and forgot the grenade launcher. That's a big move too, right? That's true, that's true. What is he doing, Aaron? It's just a, it's an aim booster program. It just helps with your aim and snap on and stuff like that. What FPS do I run? Well, I'm playing on a 144 hertz monitor. I don't know exactly how much FPS I'm having right now, but, you know, it's over like 120, I would imagine. Just need the couple warm-up games, boys. We'll be smooth sailing here soon. If you take this AR, I will scream. Are you freaking kidding me? What a horrible way to start off a game, dude. No! Don't you dare kill me. You are so fat and ugly, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Rip, and can you play Wee Zombies?
Did you say Wee Zombie? No! How much health did he have? I'm so curious. There's a gun on the other side of the door, I wonder. He had 55 health. That would have been hard to do. Yo, so Pro Savage comes in with a $1.11 donation. He says, Rip, and can you play Wee Zombies? I think you meant to say... Okay, so it read it as Wee Zombies, but you mean World War II zombies. Okay, gotcha. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of World War II zombies, dude. To be 100% fair. I like... It's a decent game. It's an okay game. It's not the greatest game. I don't know. I still prefer Black Ops 3 a lot more, and my viewers prefer Black Ops 3 a lot more too. So it's kind of like, you know, that's kind of what I like rocking. You know what I'm saying? No, we choked one, really? With 30 seconds into it? Come on. And it freezes again, dude. No. Okay, well, we actually low-key made a nasty recovery there. No, and I just missed that last one. What's up, Dylan Young? How you doing today, buddy? What's up, Beast? I love your videos, and the aim booster is the name of the game. Yeah, Dylan, aim booster is the name of the game. Aim booster is the name of the game. Aiming is the game. Do I play any more BO3 Custom Zombies? What do you mean? Like, pretty much the only time I'm playing, like, any video games at all is when I'm live streaming. Like, I really don't play video games off stream too much. I don't know, it's kind of a rule I've made with myself now. It's kind of like, you know, if I'm going to be playing video games, I might as well be streaming it for you guys, you know what I'm saying? Oh, thanks. Really? Nothing in here? Cool, appreciate it. Nothing in the bathroom either? Sick. Awesome. Yes, give me that potion. Oh, God. He's gonna be able to see me, though. Thank you. Thank you for using that as bait. He thought he was being smart. He was like, look, man, he's drinking, push him. Nah, dude. I hear a sniper. I want that. You will not leave this place alive, sniper. Wherever you are. Holy frick, dude. Holy bejeebus, man. I just got absolutely annihilated. Oh, we got shot from behind. I can feel it, bro. And I can't build up there. You freaking serious? Hey man, can you do me a favor and just peek out? What is this? Are you seriously smoking? Are you kidding me? What are you doing? What is happening? I don't like this. No! Stop it, you nerd. God, nobody likes you. Holy Jesus. I gotta go back and get his stuff. Was that him throwing those nades? Seems like they came and rolled from such a weird direction. I didn't think they were his. I thought somebody else was trying to smoke me. It's like, is that really a strat? Like, for real? Like, are we actually doing this right now? If that sniper gets me, I'm gonna cry. Huh! Ooh. Give me that. Whee! Okay. Put this here. Okay. We're good in all aspects now. I think I saw the sniper down there. Could really use another chest that could have some bandages in it. That's what I really need right now. Bandages in here. Sometimes they hide them. Let's freaking get it, baby. That's called the OG. The more you know, boys. Tap the side of my headset. The more you know. How much did my PC cost? It was about 1900, man. What's up, Knife Ninja? Actually, you know what? Oh, please don't see me. Do you have any idea that I'm here? What is he doing? That's the guy with the sniper. Okay. Did he not realize that anybody else was here? And what was he doing? What was that? What the frick, dude? You started building up, he heard me start shooting, and then he just falls. That was great. That was fantastic. Ooh, 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 oh. Yes, please. I'll take that. I'll take 2 of those. Well, just 1, but, you know. Wish it was 2. Sick. Okay, I'm feeling pretty solid right now. Like, as far as loot goes, like, I'm feeling pretty good. I wonder how many chests I've opened up in my life. Like, in this game in total. Probably a lot. I wish that regular grenades, like, just complete side note here. I wish that regular grenades counted towards the, like, ammo that you needed for grenade launchers. That'd be super nice. Like, I don't know how you would combine those. Like, it'd be frustrating if you had, like, regular nades and a grenade launcher and you wanted to use them separately, like, in your inventory, but... Don't ever peek me like that again. What's up, Kiero? How you doing today, buddy? Hana. Explode him. Oh, that's true. I could have exploded them. I could have made my life a lot easier, but I, like, honestly just wasn't thinking. But you know what? What we did works too. Works too. He was definitely going for this chest. We're getting so much loot right now. It's so nice. Are you playing zombies today? I do plan on playing zombies today, man. Yeah. Don't ask me why I built up so high there. That was a little unnecessary. Gotta get some more wood. We're pretty deep, like, good on building supplies too, which is surprising. You usually don't see that this early in the game. We should really just run to the safe zone, dude, because or else we're going to be trapped. But we got a med kit. And I want to see if there's a chest here. And it's not going to pay off because there's no chest there. Okay, let's just move then. What's up, Jordan? wonder if that guy was running towards the safe zone, actually, that we just killed, or running towards the chest. I wonder. Anyone want my egg roll? Yo, dude, I'll take it, man. I got you. I'll eat your egg roll, dog. Must be on the other side of the mountain. We ain't gonna be in it for that long. All good. Definitely enough to apply the med kit, though. Oh, there it is. Oh. Oh. Of course there's a guy coming out of the storm. What's up, Dova King? That's why I should have just healed up and ran. That's why you just heal up and run. You never fight, kids. You never fight. Alright, peeps, I'm here now. Yo, party can start, guys. The one who does not care, who also spelt does wrong. But that's ironic because he also doesn't care. Welcome to the stream, dude. The party has officially started. Are you taking my brick, dude? Come on, dude. That's my brick, dude. Yeah. Play high explosives? We could try to solo in some high explosives. I feel like that'd be really hard, but we could try it. Yeet. Do I like Avery? I do like Avery, man. Yeah, he's a super cool streamer. Amazing at Fortnite, too. Alright. Nice skin. Thank you. I guess. It's a very strange compliment, but okay. The daddy dab. What's up, Red? What's up, John? Yeah, when they come down on the circle and drop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just kind of sit in the middle of the circle, like the location, the marker where it's dropping. You just kind of sit there and wait for it to land right on you. That's kind of surprising. Like, I would imagine something like that should kill you. Like in every other, well, I shouldn't say in every other video game, but in the only other video game that I can think of that has like stuff like that, which is COD. Whenever you get hit with, you are so mad, it is unbelievable. This man barely had a chance to land. Ripping the chat from my guy, dude. Oh, wait a minute. I just destroyed my chances of getting up there, didn't I? Ooh, okay. What was that dude doing? It's the weird glitch when you land. Just turns into a... Okay. Oh, that was a launch pad. I thought it was a slurp. Why you aim higher, boys? We both had bursts, thank God. What the hell's happening to my hair? Why can I not drink this? Bro, what's happening to my hair? Hello? Wait, okay, it's good now. No, wait! Bro! What's happening to my hair? Oh God! Oh God! I'm running the side, honestly. I don't even give a frick. seriously gonna try to pull that on me? Watch this, bro. You ain't seen nothing yet. Can I have a regular AR, please? Thank you. I just want to heal up on a rooftop right now. That's all I really wanted, like, ever in my life. Okay, honestly, I think we're good. I think he ran back this way. I think he did anyway. Heard the shots over here. Unless that was another team. Another group of people. What's up, little Jay? How you doing today, man? He's right over there. He doesn't see me yet. Okay, let's just rush him. I hate this game. Two more AR bolts left. Let's go. Perfect. Except I have no more AR bullets. So I need to reload fast. Reload! Damn it! Thank you. Green AR there. Take that blue tack. Let's get it. Alright, I'm feeling lit up right now, boys. I'm feeling good. We have 6 kills right off the bat. This guy's got a scoped AR, not really a whole lot else. Whew. Alright, and icing on the cake, chat, we're in the safe zone.
Hey, just wanted to give a random person money.
Hey, just wanted to give a random person money. Yo, Julian, I appreciate your donation, my man. Thank you very much. Can we get a Julian spam in the chat? Thank you, my guy, for that support. I really appreciate it. Where were you? Were you further down or were you up? I can't tell because it's too dark. And you're up top. Cool. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Does he know I pushed up? Oh, he definitely does. What are we thinking, boys? Do we want to go for him? Well, we got him, right? Haha! Enas of the century. If he hits me, I will scream. I think he's really bad. He knows I'm coming up. Wow, he did all the hard work for me. Thanks, dude. This dude legit just fell off the map. Don't worry, guys, I got him. Leaning back, shoots up in the sky, falls right off. Goddamn, dude. Who are these potatoes that we're dealing with today? I mean, that could have just been a... Honestly, people make noob mistakes. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've made noob mistakes too. But I'm just saying, too, you know? He just falls right off the map. Whoa. Just let me get in here. Alright, actually, you know, let's have some fun here. Can I, like, swap that? Can you stop that, please? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I want to lose because there's a... Do I want the grenade launcher or do I want the potions? I guess I just definitely want the potions, right? But then again, we did take the grenade launcher last time and we ended up needing it. So, chat, what do? What's the easy answer? Right? We get rid of the med kits, right? Not the med kits, the bandages, right? Or do we get rid of the mini shields? I honestly don't know. I'm gonna get rid of the bandages, dude. Honestly, frick it. It's a hard decision, chat. I don't know what else to do, but one of these things needed to get rid of because I know we had more bandages, but shields are just better. And more than likely, we'll lose our shield first so we can replenish it first and faster. So, there's my excuse. Deal with it if you don't like it. It helps me to think out loud, chat. We're not getting rid of the mini shields. We're keeping the grenade launcher, and we're keeping the mini shields.
Hey, it's me, Carbeast. Do you remember me?
Yo, Carbeast, of course I remember you, man. Holy crap. Welcome back, dude. Haven't seen you in a while. Haven't seen you around these parts. Appreciate you dropping another $1.11 dono. I appreciate it. Can we get a Carbeast spam in the chat? Why'd you donate underneath Deluge? A completely different name. Why don't you just donate underneath Carbeast and say, like, hey, it's Carbeast. What's up, Ozzy? What's up, Mimi? Welcome to the stream. I'm excited that we have this jump pad, though. Like, I don't know if you guys actually know how excited I am, but I'm pretty gosh darn excited. This building over here, or remnants of building here on Dusty Depot. What's up? It's your boy. Honestly, as long as I don't choke top 2 again, I'm gonna be happy. Ooh. Oh my god. Henis. Like, literally, dude. Well, actually, that really wasn't my fault if we're being 100% fair. Like, she just... Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of scared me. Definitely still in this corner right here. Okay. Not gonna lie, I was a little surprised when I didn't see any building when I started shooting, and now it all starts to make sense. Now it's all starting to come together. How do I donate? Ozzy, there's a link in the description, my man, if you do want to donate to the stream. Always optional, but very much appreciated. What's up, Shadow Kid? Am I late, James? No, you're fine, dude. I am so exposed right now. It's actually insane. Oh. Well, you looky there. Guess he's just checking all of his boundaries, I guess. All of his surroundings. I respect that. Oh, there he is. Found you. Do me a favor, stand still, really quick. Do that for me, please. Just a quick second. Just a moment. It's not gonna take too long. I just need to kill you. You do that for me, please? Honestly, I think a shotgun from this distance would kill you. That did way more damage to me than I wanted it to. Oh my god. Wow. Holy Jesus. It's quite the hit. What's up, Reedy Games? How you doing today, man? What's the highest donation this year? $200, my man. Highest donation ever, actually. Wow. I guess we'll still stick with the splodes. Oh, God, dude, are you freaking kidding me? I'm gonna run away, pretend like I don't see you, dude. Alright, man. We'll just call it a truce. Alright, man, you just wanna... How do you wanna play this, brother? Wait, where the hell did it go? Where is this building going on? Am I just blocked by it? I think it's just right on the other side. Well, we can't really stay here for that much longer anyways. Does he have eyes on me? He's shooting at him now. Do me a favor, peek up real quick. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me, please? What's up, Owen Clark? I don't think he's peeking up. I think he might have got hit. A little buzzed. Oh yeah, it's right on the other side of this tree. This is actually perfect. He's not even going to see me coming. You not do that, dude, please. Honestly. You and I are a team right now, alright? We gotta kill this guy. Oh no, wait, never mind. You're getting rushed up on. You're screwed. You're screwed. Never mind, maybe you're not screwed. Haha. Imagine if there was still a guy in here, we just didn't realize it. Okay, he's in there. He's running up. He's running up to his top base of his lair. Come on, just peek up for me, man. What's up, Elliot Rogers? I was like, what? You fighting somebody in there? No, he's just destroying stuff. I got an idea. Actually, wait a minute. Are you freaking serious? Henis! Okay, good. Now, what are we thinking, boys? Do we want to go for this? I think he's distracted. Let's go for it. Nope, he knows we're here. Bye! Have a great time! Oh, God! Anybody else around me? Holy frick. Holy Jesus, man. Did not really play that too well, did we? This guy up here is good. Nade him? I can't nade him right now. Complete waste of a jump pad, if you ask me. Just gonna hope there's nobody in this one. That's all. What? Is he in this base? Right in front of me? No! Come on, dude, don't do this. Don't do me dirty like this, man. Oh! What the frick? I didn't realize there was a trap. How did I not get killed by that trap? I'm the Myth. I know that guy. That's Myth. He's a good player too. Bruh, I don't know how those traps weren't getting me. That's really confusing. This Myth guy's good. He was in the tournament. What's up, Joseph? What's up, Chase? God damn, we keep getting choked in this, dude. What's up, LeBron? Yeah. Honestly, that was really my fault too. Ugh. Car Beast, my man, coming back in.
I have made a new Car Beast account, so I will be in your streams on this one.
Alright, bro, sounds good. Car Beast, thank you very much for another $1 donation. Can we get a car spam in the chat? I would appreciate it. Definitely get a car Beast spam. I'd appreciate it. What if someone donated $200 by accident? Not $20? Oh, and Clark, that would suck. That would really suck. Because then I'd have to refund it. Or the person would charge it back. Which would actually hurt me even more. Whoa. And it freezes on me. Frick, dude, I hate when it freezes on me. What's up, M'd up? How you doing today? What is this? It's called Aim Booster. Honestly, I just gotta get rid of that. I gotta get rid of that lag, dude. Whatever that lag is. Where it just freezes my screen and I can't do anything else. That's so annoying. Alright, everybody and their mother's going to Greasy Grove, so this should be fun. How did I get my YouTube channel name? Well, my real name is Henry, for those of you guys who don't know. So that's where the Henis part comes from, because in middle school, I had a friend named Andrew who gave me the nickname Henis the Menace. Which actually apparently is a TV show. That was news to me at the time. I didn't know it was a TV show. So it's a TV show. And so he gave me the nickname Henis the Menace. So that's where the Henis part comes from. And then the pro part comes from when I started my YouTube channel, there was a guy who I had started it with. His name was ProSwag101 Gaming. And he was, you know, one of my friends who I sort of started doing this with. And I thought Pro looked cool in front of his name, so I was like, oh, let me put it in front of my name. And then, lo and behold, you freaking serious? But yo, Carbeast comes in with a sponsor, man. We got a sponsor from Carbeast, the brand new and improved Carbeast. I appreciate that, my guy. Thank you very much. Can we get a Carbeast spam in the chat, guys? Some new sponsor hype. I would appreciate it. Let's go to this house over here. Even though we don't have a whole lot of health. There's just bolt action sniper right there. Any other goodies for me? Ooh, yes, please. I'll take that. Get back up here. Really want to grab that bolt action sniper too, but I don't want to go for it just yet. There's a purple shotty down there too. A lot of good loot down there. Damn. Alright, we're going for it. I think he had a dual pump. Pretty sure he did anyway. He had a full shield too. Yeah, that would have been hard to kill that guy. What's up, LeBron James? What's up, Arthur? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Steve? How you doing today, bud? I don't know if this exercise really helps that much with Fortnite, just because, you know, Fortnite really doesn't even almost come down to, like, how good you can aim a lot of the time. It just comes down to quick building. It's almost like reaction time would be a better exercise. Whoa, Henis. Ah, dude, I'm slacking right now. Why am I moving so slow? Gotta act like my life is on the line, dude. Come on, let's go. Oh, God. Whoa, yeah, yeah, hand locked up. Ah, yeah. Yeah, what's up, Harry Reid? How you doing today? What's up? Yo, how are you? Yo, Devar, I'm doing pretty great, man. I'm doing pretty great. Welcome to the stream. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, make sure you guys drop a like. I would really appreciate it. Let's see where we're going. What's up, Zen? What's up, Henry Reid? What's up, Xander? What's up, Samuel? What's up, Storm? What's up, Benedetto Pellerito? Damn, you're as Italian as it gets, aren't you? You should play with Pack-a-Puncher one day. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down to play with Pack-a-Puncher one day. I'm mostly a solo guy, but like, yeah, no, playing with other YouTubers would definitely be cool. Please tell me there's a chest in here. Thank you. What? Henis. What the frick is happening? He's coming up. I'm all out of ammo. I'm all out of ammo. There was nothing I could do. Dude, damn it. That's so stupid. He had a full shield. He has a full shield. He had 58 more HP. There was literally nothing I could do. That's so dumb. I could have just run away, honestly, but like... We're getting, like, really bad luck right off the bat here, dude. Sheesh. God damn. What's up, Katarita? What's my favorite food? The ones that go, or the stuff that goes in your mouth. That could be taken really inappropriately. So you know what? We'll just go with, we'll go with steak and pasta. How's that? How's that for a little bit of mix of manly with a little bit of Italian? What's good, Mimi? What's up, Amber? I like the timing that we're getting with this. It's kind of nice. The last couple of games we've been doing that aim booster thing. We've been getting right back into the action, like immediately. I know we're always going to the high octane spots, guys, but we got to get it. We got to risk it for the biscuit. I should play with Ali A. If only Ali A knew who I was. That would need to happen first. I'm tempted to go to the Christmas tree, but I think everybody's going to go there. What's up, GMZ? What's up, Henis? I'm not new to the channel, but I'm new to this stream. I can never catch a stream. Yesterday, I get to your stream at the end, and I waited for the zombie stream, but it didn't come. Yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry, my man. Nice. Give me a chest. Do something good. Hell yeah, I'll take it. Honestly, it's a burst AR, so it's probably the worst thing I could have gotten. What? He knows I'm up here now, dude. I'm actually gonna die now. Come on, dude. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. Wow. That could have been the only guy. There was one other guy. Are there two guys dancing around in this house? Oh, God. The hell? Do that. What the frick? Give me the bandage, or the nades. I'll definitely take those. Reload this. Not a fan of that, but I'll take it. And then put that there. Go ahead and take a sip of that. Put that there. And then I guess we'll take another burst AR for right now. Okay. He looked very surprised to see me there, which was weird because I thought he knew exactly where I was. Could have sworn he had seen me. Guess not. Cool. What's up, Dylan? How you doing today, man? Oh, God. Sniper ammo? Did he have a sniper? Guess not. That's disappointing. Anybody else? I think we're good. What's up, Landon? How you doing today, buddy? What's my Discord? Type exclamation point Discord in the chat, guys, if you want access to the Discord. Nothing there. Let's keep her going. Honestly, not a bad start. 5 kills. Definitely take that. With full health and a little bit of shield. What's up, Kyson? What's up, Forever? Ooh, nothing there, Henis. We don't need to go to the safe zone or anything because we're already in the safe zone. It used to really weird me out. Like, I didn't like landing in areas where I was already in the safe zone. But to be honest with you, I kind of like it now. I don't know why I didn't like it for the longest time. It's just something... It felt more comfortable for me to have to go somewhere instead of just have to sit somewhere. That's why I always kind of liked it, but... kind of like this better now, to be honest. Shotgun ammo? No. Take that RPG ammo, though. Nothing. Get some more metal. More wood. We're good. I guess I'm just going to push towards Dusty Depot. It's really my best option. Love your streams. Yo, thank you, man. I appreciate that, Deauville. Thank you very much, my guy. What the frick is this? Does he see me? No, he's got his back to me. What the hell is that? More importantly, do I even want to build up to it? Of course you do, Henis. Of course you do. What? Guys, I found the Easter egg. Did you guys not know about this Easter egg? I don't know if you guys knew this. There's a gnome in the wall. You guys see the gnome, right? I don't want to build there, actually, because I want you guys to be able to see it. He's got a sniper, doesn't he? Do you guys see the gnome in the wall? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm trying to acknowledge the gnome, you jerk. I bet he's not even gonna notice it. You're not even gonna see it, dude. Turn around. Look at the gnome. Look at it. Why did he not go for the other guy? Do you see the gnome on the wall? Come on, just like take a peek at it. Come on, to your right. You gonna jump out? Really? You don't know why? It was a bad luck gnome. The gnome actually gave us bad luck. That's terrible. That is terrible. Just when you think you can trust people, man, even the gnomes betray you in Fortnite. It's the worst, honestly. I almost wonder if the music playing in the background messes me up because I'm like so beat oriented. I wonder if the cadence of the song like forces me to almost... I guess not. No. That was almost my record. Damn, that was actually a really good run. Not gonna lie. That was really nice. What's up, Maxwell? What's up, Kendrick Lamar? I know somebody said Kendrick Lamar. Lol. Hard, only 14 seconds in on aim booster and I failed. It definitely takes some practice, yeah. I remember struggling to get past 60 when I first started playing, or 30 when I first started playing. Higgsy, he said, since you're streaming Fortnite, since you've been streaming Fortnite, I've been playing this game too much. Dude, Higgsy, Fortnite is too much fun, man. I actually am freaking in love with this game. I actually love it. But dude, yo, Higgsy, appreciate you coming to the stream, brother. Hope life is treating you well. Hope your YouTube channel is doing well. I haven't really seen it recently, to be honest with you, but I hope it's going well. What's up, Kryson? Or Kyson, excuse me. Love your custom zombie streams. Yo, thank you, Landon. I'm hopefully going to do a custom zombie stream for you guys tonight, because I know you guys were really pissed at me that I didn't have one for you guys yesterday. So I'm going to try to hit you with you guys with one tonight. Let's go to this little L house right here. Hopefully we don't take an L. Am I right, boys? Am I right, though? Before the chest is even opened, and we are already loaded. Gonna try streaming in a minute, see what happens. And yeah, good, bro. Honestly, that's great. Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm gonna pray to your God that you don't have a shotgun. Oh wait, let me pick up that shotgun here real quick. Holy Jesus. Did he not know there was a shotgun right there? Did he just not see it? That's pretty funny that he had a boogie bomb though. He tried to boogie me with it. Anything in here? Nothing, man. Freaking serious. Yeah, no. Anybody we can snipe? Or we're waiting for this guy to peek us? Wish we had bandages to heal ourselves. He knows I'm up here. He's dancing. You can actually hear him, right? Wait, yo. This is... How long is he just gonna chill in there, bro? Bro, that's actually funny. No, now I can't hear anything! I can't hear anything! Dismo!
Everyone spam one for Henis to do the fuel challenge. If he doesn't love you guys.
Definitely wants me to push back down there because that's where the trap is. Just got lasered, man. Come on, dude! Oh, I actually choked that shot. That sniper shot was so easy. He was right there. I didn't need to lead that shot as much as I did. That was so lame, dude. I don't even want to hear it, chat. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Yo, Dismo, thank you very much for the $5 donation. Dismo, I freaking love you, dude. You're an absolute legend. You get a Dismo spam in the chat. I would appreciate it. And no, I'm not going to do the GFuel challenge. Dismo said type 1 in the chat if you want Henis to do the GFuel challenge. Doesn't matter, chat, because I'm not doing the GFuel challenge because I know I would like either puke on stream or make a complete fool of myself in some other aspect. So, in all honesty, I'm just not even going to bother with it. And we'll just kind of forget that happened. We'll take the $5 donation as sort of a charitable, like, haha, what? Imagine if Henis actually did that. We'll just kind of ignore it, move on. Move on with our lives. And it freezes! What's up, Darren? Welcome to the stream, buddy. Alright, we're going to Fatal. We are going to Fatal. And we are going to get this win. And I'm telling you right now, if I get this win, everything's going to be alright. Alright, Henis, have a good stream, bro. Time to start at mine. Alright, yo, Higgsy, have a good one, man. Have a good one. What's up, the weird? Hey, you're really good. Yo, thanks, the weird cool guy. Appreciate it. What's up, ProHenis? What's up, Joseph? Honestly, dude, I just want to win the game today. Like, literally, we've almost been streaming for 2 hours. We're about 4 minutes away from hitting the 2-hour mark. I'm kind of looking for just one win. It's not really a whole lot to ask. We would have had a nice, solid 15-kill win if we didn't lose that 1v1 to something stupid. I forget what it was. What's up, Yasir? Are you going to play zombies later? Yes, I do hope to play zombies later. Absolutely. Haha. You're going to die. Okay, thank you. Can't beat Fortnite lag, dude. Can't beat it. Actually, I can't tell if we want that open or not. Exactly what the doctor ordered. See, I think this guy's down here. He's just waiting for me. There was definitely a guy down here, right? I thought? Oh my lord! Fire! Oh my god, yes. Okay. Okay. Just get rid of it. What's up, Dova? Building is always their safest bet in this game. Completely disorients people, and then they don't know what to do. Was there a guy seriously all the way back there? I didn't think that there was. You're mad. Ooh. Actually, wait a minute. Give me those too. Okay. Are we good? Question is, do I want the explodes or do I want the RPGs? Wait, what did you get? It's right there. I think I want these. These freak people out more. What's up, Dylan? How you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Only 2 kills? Why does it feel like I should have 17? That's so weird. Not 17, but I feel like it should have like 4, or at least 3. Seems like such a low number for some reason. What's up, Shannon? How you doing today, Richard? Welcome to the stream. I watch ProHenis. What's good? I love your username. Welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you rocking it with us here, bro. You know, I'd be curious to see how many chests go unopened. Oh. This seems wrong. This seems wrong. I feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm cheating. I just saw a guy. I know I did. I had to have. That had to have been a guy, right? How could those have not have been looted? Oh my god. Thanks for taking those. There was a guy back here, right? Like, I'm not just... Oh. Na, 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 na. Jeez Louise, bro. What's up, Amber? Play high explosives? I could play high explosives. I'm not going to play that off like that wasn't a nice shot, though. That was a nice little snap-on right there. I'm not that egotistical. That was a nice shot. Wasn't a 1 in a million. It was a nice shot. Not going to lie. Alright, now I really don't know what to do. I guess we're getting rid of the launcher. Because health is always going to be more important. What's up, GG Whitehawk? How you doing today, man? That was a... 'Twas a nice shot, boys. 'Twas a nice shot. We can get our splodes later, I guess, right? No rush. We're all good. I'm telling you guys, when it comes to sniping in this game, I feel like I've really got it down. Even though I missed that first shot. We just won't talk about that. You're about to be in for a surprise here, little Billy. What? Is there a trap in there? No way. Was there actually a guy camping in there with a trap? No? Why the hell did it sound like a trap went off? Do you guys hear that? That couldn't have only been me. I definitely heard something go off there. And I didn't know you could shoot through wood like that. What's up, Mixtavisaurus? What's up, Matthew? That kill surprised me. I will not lie. KKK. Not the clan. I'm just saying, like, you know, like, okay. Jesus, chat. Get your mind focused. Dear Lord, don't say things like that. Don't think things like that. You guys are so inappropriate. Like I said, I was like, all right, KK. And then I was like, I realized how that sounded after I said it, and I was like, okay. Why is my chat filled with white power now? Please, chat, don't do that. What's up, man? Oh, God. You definitely went to that closest tree. I know you did. Come on, can you just stand still for me? It's going to make both of our lives so much easier. Hello? You don't have a sniper, do you? Either stand still or strafe at the steady speed to either the left or the right, and we'll both be fine. Dude, what is life? What is life, dude? What? 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 Do you guys hear that? Why do I hear the storm right here? That is really weird. That must be some form of a glitch, I guess. You know what else that could be? What's up, Christian? Sounds weird. It sounds like the storm. That's the storm. That's what the sound is when you're in the storm. But the only thing was that I wasn't in the storm, so I don't know. If I get killed right here with full health, full shield because I'm getting a drop. Kidding me? I can't even pick up that RPG. What is love? can't make it that easy for me, dude. RPG for the medkit? I'm not getting rid of the medkit for an RPG. Medkit is way more worth it. Especially with 2 slurp juices or 2 jellies. Way more worth it. Not even close. This is my first stream. Well, James, welcome to the stream, brother. Hopefully you're having a good one, my man. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, what do we think in chat? How do we want to play this? Want to do what we did before? Actually, no, hold on. We're just gonna go like that. I understand that this is a colossal waste of my time, chat. I don't want to hear it. Where did my scar go? Wait. Henis. Henis! Something's happening. This is a glitch. I've been glitched. I just got my scar stolen. My scar is gone. Give me the RPG. Give me the RPG. Give me the RPG. Give me anything. Give me anything. Oh my god, you're freaking kidding me. All I needed to do was hit that shot on him standing still. That would have been fine. Just got to shotgun him. It's the only chance we got. Okay. That ended up working out. But what in the name of the Lord? What if I go back there and my scar is just chilling? It's in your inventory? No. Bro, that's such a weird glitch, dude. That's messed up. That is actually messed up. I could have... What if that had, like, actually resulted in me dying? That could have been really bad. Like, really, really, really bad. Yo, what's up, Banded? The bad scar? Oh, wait! It's in my inventory? What? That must have been one of their scars. Could have been mine. Could never have been my scar. Could never have been my scar. I'm actually gonna get stuck in the storm now, aren't I? Where's my shotgun? I just need... Really? Blue shotgun? That's all you guys got? That's all you guys got for me? Alright, sick. Can I outrun this? Hell yeah, I can. I'm a freaking G, dude. Okay. There's 4 people left. While I'm busy over here figuring out what the frick's going on. Meanwhile, everybody else is dying. Like, goddamn. Everybody's dead. Okie dokie. I don't know why that's just chilling there. I love having so much wood. Ooh, boys and girls. What did we just witness today? What kind of sorcery was that? What kind of sorcery was that? He just used a jump pad, didn't he? He did. I have a jump pad though too, don't I? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? I'm just gonna get rid of those right there real quick. That was a nice shot. Somebody better clip that, by the way. I don't care what method you use. Just make sure there's a... I mean, there'll be a record of it, but, like, just clip it and, like, send that to me on Twitter or something. This guy did actually just bounce out. We have 3 medkits, 2 jellies, and 100 health and full shield. Okay, well, he knows I'm here now. We just don't know where this last guy is. I just shot my own base. Okay, make sure the sniper's reloaded. Take out the AR again. Why was this not cocked back, dude? Not in the safe zone. What's up, Lucas? Just gonna go for this drop right here. Go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. Let's go, baby. Let's get it. I didn't realize that was the last guy. I thought there was at least one more. But that's what I'm talking about. GG's in the chat. Holy Jesus. That had an insane sniper shot towards the end. That was lit. I didn't realize the other guy died. I honestly had no clue. 100 health, full shield. Let's get it, baby. GG's in the chat. Only 9 kills. So, you know, nothing fantastic. But we will take it. We will take it. What's up, Nicholas? What's up, G-Man? What's up, Alex? Welcome to the stream. Yo, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you drop a like in the stream for that. Make sure you subscribe as well. Honestly, if that sniper shot doesn't deserve a like, I really don't know what does. That was an insane shot, boys. That was an insane shot. Can I play high explosives? I can't anymore because I'm getting into a match. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to back out. I'm going to try to solo in some high explosives. All right? We're just going to try it. We're going to try it for like maybe a game or two. Depends on how much fun I'm having. And then we'll probably get off, right? Let me back out. We'll try to solo. What's up, kiddo? High explosives. No fill. Let's get it. Try to solo. Ooh, what state do I live in? I live in the grand state of Maine. How many wins? Let me check. Solo wins, I think that's 15 now. Yeah. Yeah. Almost 1,000 kills in solos. Damn. Not bad. What's up, Arturo? How you doing today, buddy? I gotta text my dad back here. He needs a delivery favor. Oof. Arby's comes in, dropping another $1, man. The delivery of, yeah, it's a weed delivery. No, it's not a weed delivery, unfortunately. Just kidding, I don't smoke weed. But Carbies, thank you very much for another $1 donation. Can we get a car? Spam in the chat. If there's a car emoji, you guys know what to do. Spam the car emoji. But no, my dad's moving into a new condo, so he's having some furniture delivered that somebody needs to be there for. Zombies will happen tonight? That's the hope, man. That's the hope. Actually, no, where do I want to go? Let me go there. Just try to go to one of these, like, outskirt houses. Everybody's always going to try to go to the high-octane places. We'll go to the racetrack. Where's this guy? Definitely stick to the house. This is going to really suck. Come on. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! No! No! He doesn't know I don't have any ammo. Where'd this go? I can't build. I don't know why I was trying to build right there. That was stupid. I kind of forgot in my mind that this was squads too, so I wasn't really prepared for another guy to be there. Yeah, okay. No, that was fun. I'm definitely doing that again. Definitely doing that again. Oh, I gotta get the special event challenge anyways. You don't need the boogie bomb because you are the bomb. Ayy. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. RPGs are the best in this game. Like, yeah, no, the grenade launchers just honestly suck. Unless you have a base, which is really stupid in this game mode too, when you really think about it. Because having a base is just going to get absolutely demolished because everything is explosive. So, really no point. When will zombies happen tonight? Because it's 10 p.m. in England or so. Hopefully I can stay up to watch it. JX, to be honest with you, probably won't start for like another 3 or 4 hours, man, because I'm probably only going to play 1 or 2 more games of this, and then we're going to have a long break before the zombie stream, so it'll probably be like 1 or 2 a.m. for you, unfortunately. Unfortunately, my guy. If it is 10 where you are. Unfortunately. Sorry, man. But I'm going to need a little bit of a mental break. I'm probably going to do a workout, and then probably need some food, work on my video that I got to work on, because I kind of want to have it up tomorrow, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. What's up, Richard? Yo, Connor, that's funny, man. That's funny. This house right here. Do I have Snapchat? Yes, I watch ProHenis. I do have a Snapchat, man. Real ProHenis is my Snapchat. It's unfortunate because all my social media is ProHenis except for my Snapchat, which is real ProHenis. Kind of sucks. Just subscribe. Thank you, Demon Lord. What time is it for me? Right now, for me, it's almost 5 p.m. It's 4:56 in the afternoon. I don't think there's a chest in there, is there? No, it doesn't look like it. Here we go. Starting it off right. I'm glad we got RPGs right off the bat, though, another house. That was clutch. We could really... I would rather RPGs, to be honest with you, but... The good news is I think we're alone for right now to be able to check stuff. Okay. Do I live in Maryland? I do not live in Maryland. No, I live in Maine. I live in the grand state of Maine. The cool news is, too... This guy's stupid as hell. How'd we not get him? Run right into it. Run right into it. Oh, he doesn't have a weapon. Let's get it, baby. Come on, man. Gotta be better than that. Sheesh. Okay. No big deal. Dude, that's why, honestly, these suck. You need the RPGs. Close quarters engagements like that, it's just terrible. My goal was to try to build around them, but of course he could have just broken right out of it. The RPG up there, I think it is. Here, chest too. Let's get it. Ooh. No, are you freaking serious? Oh, yes, please. Do I play anything but PC? I have a PS4, but I just rarely play it, to be honest with you. Alrighty. Definitely grabbing this RPG. That's what we need. I just see somebody all the way over there. Thought I did. RIP my PS4. Yeah. Raid Izzy? We could raid Izzy Gone Crazy. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Oh, wait. We gotta head to the safe zone. Holy Jesus. Didn't realize how far away I was. Wow. We're actually really far. Raid Ninja? You mean Ghost Ninja or like the ninja on, like the ninja on Twitch? Both pretty dope. Yo, Owen, you're starting a stream on Twitch, dude? Is that your first one? Like, have you streamed on Twitch before? It's a pretty dope platform, not gonna lie. I highly recommend it. All of my Twitch viewers right now, what's popping? What's good? There's like 3 of you. But what's good? What's up, Ricardo? What's up, Raj? Am I gonna make this without taking any damage? I might. Might not, too. Who knows? I've streamed twice on there? Oh, nice. Guy all the way over there. I don't know if you guys can see him to the southeast. Looks like he's all by himself. While I'm running through, I should really use this time to farm supplies. Because I'm going to need it. Is that a potion? No way. I was going to say no way and anybody would leave a potion behind. That's actually, I think that's something up there. It's already open. I'm an idiot. I saw somebody. Ah, no, we got time. We're gonna be perfect. We gonna be all good. We need like the triple RPG strat. That's what we need. The problem is, oh, there's 2 guys right here. I don't think they see me, thankfully enough. Another RPG there. Taking that. Don't mind if I do, gents. Don't mind if I do. Ooh, what's up, Amp? How you doing today? What direction do we think these guys went in? I'm guessing this direction. Nope, they're over here. Just gonna chase right after him. Hopefully they'll lead me to the rest of their squad. And we can annihilate them. Or maybe it's just the two of them. That'll make it even easier. As long as we hit both of our shots, of course. This guy's having some trouble. I don't think they know I'm here. Creeping closer and closer. What's up, man? How did I should have swapped to the other one. I should have swapped to the other one. I shouldn't have gotten so close to him. What was I thinking, bro? That was stupid. I knew I was going to kill myself right there. That was so dumb. I'm not going to lie. I don't really like this game mode. I don't like it's cool, but it's just not as like it's not as versatile. Like you can't do as much with it. I don't know. I'm going to do one more because I want to complete my event challenge, but like I don't know. It's a weird it's like it's fun and it's different and I love that they're adding new game modes. I really do, but I don't know. I'm just not that was just stupid. That was just stupid. Daddy, come on. Listen, Julian. I know. Hey, Henis, remember me when I was here yesterday? You said you were going to get sniped in the head. You said, wait, I said I was going to get sniped in the head? I don't remember that, to be honest with you. Don't really remember that. I believe it, though. Haha! You are so screwed, dude. Oh my god, you're so dead. It's unreal. That would have killed me too, in all realism. What's up, Richard?
I should get a cheeky raid on Twitch, and if not, can you follow me? Please smile.
Yeah, Owen, I got you with the follow, man. I got you, brother. 100%. 100%. I don't usually raid people on Twitch, that's all. Don't die this time, win the game. I'll do my best, brother. I'll do my best. Soloing in this game mode's hard, dude. I mean, it's well, I don't know. I actually don't think it's hard. I just think I'm playing stupid. What's up, Codboy? What's up, I play fair? Grab this chest right here. Fair. Is nobody else coming here? Oh, this is nice then. I have a lot of loot opportunities. Please, gold. Ah, I was hoping gold RPG, but no. Really? Yeah, I'll take the bandages though, not gonna lie. I guess I'll take that. I'm guessing people are going to know that I was up there. If anybody landed near me. Which I don't think there was. Which is a really good sign, because I don't want anybody to land near me. I need to have whole loot areas to myself. There you go. Perfect. All right, Owen, I got you, man. I got you. I've been watching a lot of your streams and I love them. Yo, thank you, Jonas. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Glad you enjoy them. Okay, a couple of chests here. I like it. Pretty much it all comes down to let's just get as many RPGs as we possibly can, really. Outside of this wall? Here it is. Come on, dude. Where are the flippin' RPGs at, dude? Up top. Come on, dude. Where are the flippin' RPGs at? Gold RPG would be like perfect right now. Got 2 medkits, 2. Okay, okay. Oh my lord. I'm just gonna go ahead and take those back. Yo, D1 Keith, sorry I'm late. Hey, no worries, man. This is, I am getting like, this is probably my last game on. But honestly, bro, no worries, no worries. You're all good. Why can't I build there? I don't know. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? What's up, James? Oh my god, man. Might as well just drink this. Okay. Dual RPGs. We're going to have 75 potion, full health, 2 medkits, some nades. We're honestly looking pretty solid. How far away are we? We're pretty far from the safe zone. No need to worry, though. Just activate my speed boost. We'll be on our way. Henis, any help on getting notifications to go out? Mine aren't going out when I go live. Honestly, dude, I've been having the exact same issue. I really don't know. The best thing that I usually try to do is consistently, like, it's whatever YouTube's, like, internal notification system is. But usually tweets still get sent out. Like, tweets will still get sent out for videos, even if they're a little, like a few minutes late or something. Regularly, that's usually how it works. So what I usually try to do is I really try to push people to, like, you know, follow my Twitter, have me added on Snapchat. And then I try to remind myself to, like, post on those things when I go live or when I upload a video. So then there's, like, another way for me to communicate with the audience. But that's really the only thing. There's no, I don't know of any, like, tricks to, like, increase the chances of people getting notifications. I don't really know. Holding down click. A lot of wood is what we need. Could be something nice up there, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. I just had a really interesting idea for a key binding change I might want to try out. I've been heading in the right direction. I know nobody's taking nades, but I have this weird, like, preconceived notion. I'm actually not going to take them either. I have this weird preconceived notion that if, like, nades explode faster than the explodes do. So like if you can get your hands on nades and like trap people or throw them at them, I feel like that might kill them faster. Just a thought. I honestly have no clue though. I'm a decent distance away. I should be fine though. When given the choice, I'll always be using RPGs. So there's 28 people left. We've got a decent amount of building supplies. We have 2 medkits too, and a lot of shields. So we should be able to get out of here fine. I should play CS:GO. I'm not a big fan of CS:GO, man. Lumberjack, Henis, yeah, exactly. Henis, before you get off, look at the top donor list and see where I'm at. All right, man, I got you. Yeah. I don't think yeah, that's true. I actually didn't update it yesterday with your 100. I will be streaming later tonight, D1 Keith, by the way, because I know you said you came in late. I will be streaming later tonight, doing a zombie stream. Just so everybody knows, too. I'll be doing a zombie stream later tonight. This will be my last game. So, like, regardless of what happens here, this will be my last one. Yeah, we gonna be all Gucci. I like that you don't run any slower. With, like, depending on what weapons you have out. I like that. It's a nice feature. What's up, Christian? What's up, Eric? Welcome to the stream, bud. Appreciate you coming in. Hopefully no one sees me.
Just got McDonald's. What's up? I was here a while ago.
What's up? I was here. Yo. Julian. That's right, man. I remember seeing you in the chat. Yeah. Thank you very much for your super chat, man. Hopefully your McDonald's is good. Enjoy it, brother. Unfortunately, it's going to be like my last game right here. So we won't really be chilling a whole lot after this. But I appreciate the support, my guy. And hopefully you enjoy your McDonald's, man. Had us do an IW zombie stream? No, I'm good. Thank you, though, for the offer. I'm not doing an IW zombie stream. I'm just not a big fan of IW zombies. I don't really think it would pull viewers either, to be quite honest. I don't think it's really going to matter what kind of building material I have. Because it's going to get destroyed instantly either way in close quarters engagements, so. Yo, what's good, Pager? How you doing today, bud? Welcome to the stream, man. Something in here. I want to make sure there's no trap. I'm just a solo player out here, and I haven't seen a ding-dong flipping person. There's 20 people left. I'm going to have to 1v4 a whole squad. At the very end, it's going to be just 5 people left. I hope not. I hope that's not how it works out. If this is going to end up being a win, the only thing I worry about is that it's going to end up being like a really lame win, you know? End up being like a win with like 2 kills. But I mean, hey, a win's a win, right? Doesn't really matter. The really nice news about playing the high explosive game mode too is that you can hear, you can like tell, like there's no surprises really to you getting killed. Like you're gonna be able to hear the shots coming for you. You know? You're gonna know exactly when you're being shot at. You're gonna have time to react, which is always nice. Base right here. Try building up into there. Why do I do that, dude? I should have built up. I should have built up. That's what you gotta do, Henis. You gotta build up, you freaking idiot. That's why you shouldn't have taken any... Like, honestly, look at this guy. Why is he moving so slow? There we go. Now he's running. Holy Jesus. Kill your teammate. Do it. shouldn't have taken any damage to a guy that was literally sitting still. I point blank RPG'd him. Like, what did he have on? Like, how many shields did he have? Like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the stream, though. Appreciate all the support. You guys have been awesome today. Really, really do appreciate it. We did get one solid solo win, which was really, really nice. Like, probably one of the sexiest sniper shots I've ever gotten, like, ever in the history of my channel. Did somebody on Twitch clip that, by the way? Because I kind of want to go back and watch it. Did anybody happen to grab that? Because I kind of want to, like, if somebody was able to grab that, I want to see it. I want to see it. Like, nobody clipped it? Really? Really, chat? Nobody did that for me? I want to see it. Like, okay. Nah, Henis, you can't see it, man, because your chat didn't clip it. GFuel perks. Hold on. I'm going to check something here real quick. I'm going to go back into my stream. I want to find the clip. No, correction. I'm going to find the clip. This is a live stream. Like, honestly, what the hell am I doing? Where's my stream? I'm still live, right? Hello? Yes. Okay. ProHenis. Wow, the lag is real. All right. #1 Fortnite player, totally not clickbait. Perfect. I'm still live, right? All right. We're going to go back to my solo game. This had to be it, right? Was that it? No, that was... It was recent. Yeah, it was this. It was this right here. I think I'd already gotten the shot, right? Or no, I'm about to get it, I think. I'm about to get it right here. Yeah. Right here, boys. Right here! It's ready to watch my reaction alongside. Damn, dude. It's a nice shot. And girls. It's a nice shot, bro. What did we just witness today? That's a nice shot. Damn. Damn. What kind of sorcery was that? Get a look at that guy over there. It's insane. Can we get a replay on that? I love having. Want to get a replay on that? Let's see this. Let's see this. Oh. Oh, potato, because he moved. Damn. RIP, man. All right, you ready? Hit the shot. Aim. Ooh, boys and girls. What did we just witness today? Yeet. Talking about girls. What did we just witness? I cracked myself up. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. Appreciate all the support tonight. You guys have been insane. Like I said, I will be live again later tonight. Hopefully doing a zombie stream right now. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna make those gains, baby. And I really gotta work on this video because I'm not gonna be here like for a huge chunk of tomorrow. LMAO, you use aim booster? Yeah, bro. What's the problem? You got a problem with this? Got a problem with a little bit of aim booster, dude? Would it trigger you if I just started playing it? Huh? It's actually a lot of fun, man. It's a fun little... Whoa. Fun little exercise. Henis, don't try to show off and go fast. Just try... Wow, dude. What am I doing? Holy Jesus. I overshoot. That's my biggest problem. I just got to get more control over my mouse. And this is what this really is. This is to like help the a huge part of this is just those sniper lock-on shots. This helps with that. Yeah, no, that was really bad. That was a really bad one. That was really bad. Aim booster. It's a fun little exercise. I don't know. You guys should try it out. It's really cool. Just aimbooster.com. Literally, that's it. It's like a fun little game for any of you guys who play PC games that like actually helps with your aim, like legitimately. Like I notice it, like you warm up with it like before you hop into a game, right? Before you hop into a game of like CS:GO, COD, whatever you're playing, even Fortnite, right? Hop into a game, you play a couple rounds of this, just play the challenge mode, and you're set. There's also like custom modes you can do. I don't know, man. I think it's pretty solid. And it's so basic too, right? Like think about it. You're literally just aiming and clicking on targets. That's really all that it is. And the targets come in faster and faster, so it sort of helps warm you up as the timer goes on. more and more targets start coming in. So you got to move faster and faster and faster. It's always the ones that are like farthest away that are the hardest to get. I think that's a record. Minute 30? I don't think it's a record. No. It's not a record. It's not, it's like, maybe it's my own personal record. That's like, the world records are absolutely insane for this. Anyways, I'm gonna get off. Appreciate all the support. You guys have been insane tonight, or today. Drop a like in the stream. Subscribe if you're new. Have on post notifications. You guys never miss a future stream. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time, everybody keep gaming. As always say, go adios.